Mayor Lambert and Council. Nels Reese, 308 South Hayes. Two things tonight. Want to just share with you some of the excitement that's been going on 3rd Street. You see an image or two in front of you there. It's the most serious piece of infrastructure that I've seen in my little 35 or 40 years in Moscow. It's they're down at 14, 15 feet down into the ground, and 24-inch water lines. It's pretty exciting, and it's been an incredible traffic calming device. As you might suspect, I just saw my first car just yesterday afternoon. So item number 2, as I represent the livable city group here in Moscow, I would like to introduce you to a book that you see on the other sheet that you have called Walkable City, How Downtown Can Save America One Step at a Time. This is a book written by a fellow by the name of Jess Speck, who I've met a few years ago, and he's a pretty knowledgeable fellow. He's worked in Washington, worked on the Mayor's Institute on City Design, helped create the Governor's Institute on Community Design, wrote a book with Andres Duaney called The Rise of Sprawl and the Decline of the American Dream. And he has this particular book that's now available called Walkable City, How Downtown Can Save America One Step at a Time. And what I'd like to do is prepare you for a series of educational 3-minute, I'm going to call it the Reese 3-minute lecture series. And you see 10 items there, and in the next several months, you might see me on a fairly regular basis as we can, and I'll bring something to go along with it so that we can kind of keep this dialogue about just how good our city is and how we're doing in terms of walkability. So this is, and I will say that you can go online and find a number of things about Mr. Speck, and he does a TED Talk if you have 16 minutes in your busy day to listen to it. It's there at the bottom of the page. You can roll it up and kind of get an idea of who we'll be talking about in the next weeks, and I thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Nels, for those pictures. That infrastructure job on 3rd Street was amazing, and of course we've got lots of those projects in the future that we will be addressing. We had a busted pipe the other day that were 55 years old off of F Street, so we got more of these things that we're going to entail in our city. Okay, would there be others that would like to come up and speak?
My name is Linda Pike, 1026 East 3rd here in Moscow. Good evening, Mayor Lambert and councilpersons Walter Steed, Catherine Bonzo, Art Betke, Jim Boland, Gina Tarusco, and John Weber. Glad to be here tonight and glad to have you all here. I didn't get here in time for the whole brand presentation, but I saw some of it, and I'm just really pleased to see that and it says under the connector's core desires to bring people together, and I'm really glad to see that. And also it says under Be Different that we live in a consumer culture that strives for authenticity and uniqueness, especially in terms of travel and living, and that Moscow is truly different. And I appreciate that being included. And as a citizen, I want to thank the city for the huge improvement that you made for traffic calming and safety on D Street by the middle school. It seems a perfect solution to slow down traffic and alert drivers to people crossing the street. I've driven that, and I drive it at least a few times a week, and that is just wonderful. You cannot miss that there could be people crossing the street there. It's great. And I'm hoping that the city will do more traffic calming on other busy streets. No neighborhood should have to have truck traffic going through it or cars speeding through it. Mayor Lambert has stated that all neighborhoods are special and none more important than another. I agree with the mayor about all neighborhoods being important. However, all streets are different, and that's a fact which needs to be considered. 3rd Street is the only east-west street with 2 schools and Moscow's Central Park, which hosts so many huge events attended by local and regional people and daily visits by families, students, and the public. I live a half a block from that park, and I see all that goes on. I'm there about every day. It creates enormous foot traffic, baby strollers, bikers, and cars. And of course, 3rd Street is home to the 1912 building, which hosts numerous events and is continually used. Traffic calming on D Street is wonderful, but designation of 3rd as a minor arterial with 35 miles per hour speed limit, that's terrible. It's a poor plan which values vehicles over people and developers over residents. Please consider the inconsistency between the solution on D Street and your plans for 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
Tracy for 121 North Lily, Moscow. So we're seeing articles in the paper about projects that are relevant to the upcoming general obligation bond this spring. Keep doing it. Today there's one on the city shop reconstruction, which Tyler talked about. Mid-August, there was one on the new police station, fire trucks, downtown infrastructure, street repairs, and park development, which Art did. Last week, there was one on asphalt rubber chip seal. I happened to be in the right place at the right time to attend the presentation here and see an application near St. Mary's. Though my comprehension is limited, I thought the presentation was very interesting. One knowledgeable resident mentioned to me last week how good it looked up there. To my ear and my memory, since I've heard earlier discussions about street repairs and the rubberized process, I'd mention a few things that stood out to me. Number one, it appears to our professionals that this is a better product and more cost-effective for the long run. That's good. Number two, kudos to our street department for researching this product and bringing it to the council to try on our streets as a first in the area. It shows initiative from our employees. And number three, 75% of the rubberized materials come from scrap tires because it's cost-effective. Old tires are a huge environmental problem, so this is a big plus. It works towards sustainability and makes good horse sense. So we'll be seeing how the rubberized seal holds up, but all indicators look promising. Well done.